Happy 30th birthday, Rachel Ann Parrish White. Your daddy's darling, and I love you. You know, 30 years ago, at 2:58 in the afternoon, September 15th, 1982, I watched you come into the world. We loved you, your mother and I loved you even before you were born. We didn't want to know if you were a boy or a girl. They asked us in those meetings or classes we went to and seeing the doctor that we could find out if you were a boy or a girl, and we decided we didn't want to know. We were just going to be happy and thrilled to know that you were our daughter or our son, but that you were ours and that you were healthy. You know, your mother was nursing you, which you already know that, but anyway, you were feeding every 2 hours, and I would get up in the middle of the night, change your diaper, and hand you off to your mother and go back to bed and do it again a couple of hours. It was a great time watching you grow. Then when your mother started going to work, and then in 1983 when you got bacterial spinal meningitis in that summer, that was a tough time. When they told us we didn't know whether you were going to live or die or whether you was going to lose your right eye. Then on that Thursday, I'd gone back to work, and then on that Thursday, after you'd been in the hospital for several weeks, your mother paged me, and they had told your mother that you were stone cold nerve deaf. Both ears would never be able to hear again. And I got cleaned up and rushed to the hospital. And then my mother came and with her Bible and showed me Mark 11:23. And she said these words, if we can believe this, maybe, just maybe, God will touch her. I went home that night and prayed that prayer and knew without a shadow of a doubt that God would heal you and that God had healed you. Told the doctors the next morning, and that lady doctor said, God don't do stuff like that. And I pointed my finger at her and I said, God will prove you to be a liar. Then Sunday came. I'd come up to the hospital that morning and let your mother go home and get a shower. And it was around 9:30, the phone rang and you moved. And it was your mother calling to let me know she was coming back. Then shortly thereafter, your pediatrician, Dr. Halpern, came into the room. And that door had a squeak. And when that door squeaked, you just grabbed my shirt. And I was rejoicing knowing that you could hear. We told him, and then he set off a beeper in the bed, his beeper. And I said, see, she can hear. I know you still have problems and you can't hear out of your left ear, but God healed you that day. And then you became home and you started growing and was carrying you to daycare. And because your mother had to go to work and be at work at 6, I would get you dressed and fix you in pigtails or a ponytail or put barrettes in your hair. Sometimes you wouldn't want to put your pants on, and I'd have to stick my hand up through the legs to grab your leg and your foot and pull it through, and you'd just be giggling and grinning, and I'd goose you. And that's where I came up with a song. I'm going to sing it to you now, even though I can't sing, couldn't sing good then, and still can't now. Rachel is Daddy's darling, Daddy's darling, Daddy's darling. Rachel is Daddy's darling all the time. I used to sing that to you, you'd giggle and laugh, and you'd say, that's right, I'm Daddy's darling. And then, of course, as you got older, you didn't want to hear that anymore. But you know, when we had a lot of great times from going camping down at Miller's Ferry, and camping and waking up with the snow had fallen, waking up when it had flooded, it rained so hard it had flooded one night and almost washed away a tent we were sleeping in. We had some good times camping. We had some good times fishing, from going to Miller's Ferry and going up to Weiss Dam and catching all those brim in the spring of the year, to going different places and fishing it out of that bass boat. Having to use the little potty chair to go to the bathroom, your mother and you. But most of all, one of the most memorable times we'd had throughout the years, these 30 years, would be going to the beach. From Panama City to the time we went to Panama City in the fall, and we were homeschooling you, and you stayed down there a couple of weeks with Mother, and we were coming back and forth, and Mother and Dad were there, and the seashells they were dredging, and you could just go out there and rake the seashells and get big, wonderful seashells, and we got boxes of seashells. And then Patty and them would come down, and we all came down and had a great time. Then, of course, we went many times to Orange Beach throughout the years and Gulf Shores. And then, one of the most memorable times, the proudest moments of my life, was having the privilege of walking you down the aisle to your wedding. And not only walking and giving you away, but not only walking you down that aisle and giving you away, but doing the wedding ceremony for you. That was 10 years ago, 2002. That was a proud moment, and since then you brought two beautiful children, Mercy and John, into the world. They are such a blessing and so beautiful. You know, I could go on for a long time talking about all the good times and the good memories we've had. We've had our moments. We've had our times of sadness and heartache. But you know what? The good times far outweigh the bad. Just like when you asked Jesus to come into your heart when you was a little girl. That was a great time. We were going to Garywood Assembly at the time, and then you were baptized. Mother and Dad came and watched you be baptized. But then again, in 1995, I was pastor, and we went out to the Southwest Believers Convention. And it was kind of funny to me seeing you. You got so drunk in the spirit that you had to have help to walk around. I don't know if you remember that. That was a funny time. We had some great times there. But just like the Father in Luke 15, I long to see you. I long to run to you and put my arms around you, and to kiss you on your cheek, and to look you in your eye, and to say, I love you, Rachel. You'll always be Daddy's darling. But on this day, I did this little video. Hope you'll watch it. Hope you like it. Just wanted to tell you, happy 30th birthday to my Daddy's darling. You are Daddy's darling. You'll always be Daddy's darling. Rachel, I love you. Happy birthday.